Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well amongst this COVID-19. But I wanted to do this video post about a really important topic and issue, and it relates to mental health. I have been a mommy's girl since I was born. And it's really, really funny because most girls are daddy's girls when they're born, right? We capture our father's attention. We become the apple of their eye. They're super protective over us. And, we just break their hearts. And, girls are supposed to belong to their daddies, right? Well, that's never been the case. I've always been mommy's girl, which is very weird because growing up, I very rarely remember my mother holding me or coddling me because she's just not that type of person. My mom is one of 3 girls, and it's very ironic because her and her sisters all had girls. And we were all kind of raised somewhat the same, with the exception of my oldest cousin and my sister. They were kind of overprotected a little bit more, but me and another cousin realized that we were the Miss Independents. And my mom and her sisters, all raised by their mother, were raised to be these super independent women and to do what you had to do in order to survive and get what you need. You hustle hard. And that's a really great gene that I have, and it's great. But they were also taught that you suck everything in. You don't display emotion. You just bottle everything up inside, and that's just what it is. And that has been passed down to me. And now that I'm getting older, I'm seeing great flaw in that. And I'm seeing some other things. And of course, as you learn more and you see the world more, it's just a lot. So back to my relationship with my mother. She was always there. She was a protector of her children. Now, granted, I often tell a lot of people I essentially raised myself. And that's kind of true. My sister has trisomy X and needed a little bit more attention. And so my mom really had to handhold her. Me, I got everything. Like, as soon as I got out the womb, I was very independent. And she kind of felt that I didn't need her as much. But for some reason, I still became this mommy's girl. And I had my fair share of issues when I was growing up. Like, I used to break out in hives, and I had really bad asthma. And when it came to that, she would run into mommy mode, but it was just like, you got this, you can manage this. And it allowed me to go away to college, start a career, become very independent. But now it's at the point of when I'm in life and I need a mother, she forgets to be there and be a mom sometimes. And it's heartbreaking. I also am finding that now I'm parenting her, and it's a little awkward. But most importantly, one thing that I've noticed in our relationship is when I try to be expressive in my feelings towards her or call her out, she can do no wrong. And I know that when it comes to parenting, and especially when we try to implement healthy practices in relationships, because when we know better, we do better, there's going to be pushback. And so, prime example, I am very sensitive about my voice. And for those who don't know, I used to sing in choir. I used to cheer. A lot of things that are abusive to the vocal cords. And as a result, I have a lot of dysphonia and vocal cord issues. I also have really bad sinusitis that's consistent, and asthma, and all of that has just messed up my cords. So I sound raspy all the time. I have a deeper voice. And it gets to the point to where it's so frustrating because every single day I get asked, are you sick? Do you have a cold? And that's just one piece of my life that I've learned to adapt and adjust, but sometimes it just gets overwhelming and frustrating. Same thing when my lupus is flaring and my rash is on my cheeks, or I have my arms somewhat exposed or my chest and you can see the scars from rashes, or when I'm swollen, or I walk with a noticeable limp because of the metal in my leg. It's just so many different things that you learn to cope with that make invisible illnesses visible sometimes. But she recently called me after we had this family conference call and asked me, well, what's wrong with your voice? Which I've told her multiple times. And her excuse was, well, I didn't know, which is a lie before Jesus and the 12 disciples himself, because I've told her multiple times. And instead of her accepting responsibility for what she had done, she projects it back onto me as if it's my fault and says, I'm angry. I'm not angry. I'm frustrated. There's a big difference. In therapy, for me, my therapist has worked with me to express my emotions and to be okay with owning how I feel and owning my emotions and not letting anyone tell me how I should feel. And it made me upset because she attempted to tell me how I should feel. And instead of her taking responsibility for her actions, she threw it back on me. And that makes me super duper upset. And when I try to talk with her about it and have an open dialogue, she can do no wrong. We're all human. Just because you're the parent and I'm the child, you can do wrong. That's real life. So I'm doing this video and posting it for daughters and mothers who have severely complicated relationships to say it's okay to have those disagreements with your mamas. It's okay for you to say, no, you're wrong, and to project that back on and to push back and to say, this is how I feel. I'm going to own my feeling. And you need to listen to this. You need to understand how I'm feeling and stop thinking that you can do no wrong. You're human. Open your eyes to this. And now she's going to be mad at me, which is totally fine because I refuse to back down from how I feel. But this has been our relationship ever since I've been an adult. And it makes her upset, and she calls me bougie and uppity when I try to correct her, but I do it in a gentle way, not a, uppity way or a more educated way, but to say, these are my feelings. This is how I feel. Don't tell me how I should feel. Don't push back on me. So for those of you who are struggling with your relationships with your parents and not feeling like you can safely express how you feel, know that you aren't alone. But keep pushing, keep trying. It's worth it in the end. Hopefully at some point you will be able to have those open conversations and they'll realize that, yes, you're not 100% correct. You don't get to tell me how I feel. Only I know how I feel. But you have to take responsibility in your actions as well. You yelling at me or becoming angry with me because of how I feel or because I'm right in what I'm doing does not fix the situation. You have to take responsibility. I really hope my words encourage and help someone today, and that we could start fixing some of these unhealthy behaviors and this generational hurt and trauma that's in a lot of our African American families. I thank you all today, family. Be blessed.